Thank you for watching the Andy's Randomness channel. Please feel free to like and subscribe and to follow Andy's Randomness on Twitter and Instagram at Andy's Randomness. Okay, we have excellent news today. There is good news in Fresh Meadows that a man from St. Albans has been charged with attempted murder after the shooting incident that occurred a couple of blocks away from my house. So yes, I am very happy about this news. We're going to get into it from the Queen's Courier. So police have announced an arrest of a man who was believed to have shot 3 teenagers in Fresh Meadows. And by the way, Channel 1 briefly brought this up on the air. It was a brief mention, but there's nothing on the website. So I'll show you that as we go along here. So the suspect accused is Jordan Jerome of St. Albans, charged with attempted murder, assault, and criminal possession of a weapon, according to authorities. So it says here that we're going to recap the incident. As many of you know, I just came home from work when this incident happened. So back on April 28th at 4:10 p.m., this was opposite 64-50 188th Street, so again, a couple of blocks away from my house. 14-year-old female and 2 18-year-old males were walking together when they were approached by 4 unidentified individuals who engaged in a verbal dispute. One of the individuals pulled out a firearm and shot the 14-year-old in the neck, the 18-year-old in the leg, and another 18-year-old in the torso. So a gray sedan was seen heading north on 188th Street towards 64th Avenue. So, again, this is excellent news. I mean, at least, again, I know this was not a homicide, but, you know, to think that, again, me and Lee Zeldin have something in common, all right? I understand that a shooting happened right outside of his front door, and I get all that, but literally a shooting by my own house. This house, which I obviously helped run the Andy's Randomness YouTube channel. This is the same house that I've been in since I was 9 years old. To think that a shooting could happen right near here? And to think that it took 6 months. 6 months to make an arrest. But finally, I am just so happy. I am literally so happy that the NYPD was finally able to track down a suspect. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's what really matters. That's what really matters. And I'm very happy about that. And I'm very happy that, you know, the news came out this morning, right when I was waking up, and I had to verify it with the Queen's Courier. So, yeah. And again, there's nothing about it on the Channel 1 website. Nothing about it at all. You want proof? Well, we are going to pull up Channel 1's website in just a bit. So look at this. Academic screens. You know, you think that the shooting in Staten Island would make the front website? No. Here it is right here. So we're actually going to watch a very good report from Channel 1 last night. Yeah, I caught them in the act. Alright, so we're going to watch the Channel 1 report from last night, which they sent a reporter to Staten Island, so kudos to them. But sorry, if you're not a subscriber to Spectrum, you can't watch us just because we're going to hide the news from you. At least Channel 12, not just Long Island, but the other websites, at least they're letting you watch some of their videos. But no, Spectrum, we're going to be so restrictive. We're not going to let you watch our content just because, even if you're not a non-subscriber. Okay, so let's take a look at Queens. And then we're going to go to the Queens DA's website. So we're going to go to the Queens DA's website to see if she has a press release regarding anything regarding it. I know I was looking this afternoon earlier, but yeah, look at that. I mean, what else is new? At least Channel 1 brought up the man who got dragged by the subway the other day, so we're going to get into that. we're going to get into that because there's a lot of subway crime that we do have to cover. And a lot of other subway incidents. In fact, there was another death on the subway, I think, if I'm correct. So we're going to have to look into that. So I did see something about it on Channel 7 today. So, alright. So, what do we want to do? Yeah, we want to go to Queens DA. Let's Google Melinda Katz's website, queensda.org. I remember the URL very well. It's not queensda.com, it's queensda.org. So in order to read the press releases from, Melinda Katz, you have to go here. So, no, we don't have anything regarding that. But I'm sure we're going to get a formal arraignment sooner rather than later. I don't know why the court wasn't open today. You would have thought the court would have been open, or maybe they're going to arraign the suspect from St. Albans sometime later tonight. But I'm sure we're going to get an arraignment. But we do have to read this. So, Lamel McRae, the suspect accused of pushing a subway rider onto the tracks at Myrtle Wyckoff Avenue, has been arraigned. So, he was arraigned before Queens Criminal Court Judge Diego... Let me move this so you can at least get an idea. Diego Ferrer on a complaint charging him with attempted murder in the second degree, attempted assault in the first degree, an assault in the third degree, and endangering the welfare of a child. Wow. So, apparently, the my bad, an 8-year-old child was also involved in this. Wow. So, yes, good. So, the suspect, if arraigned properly, which will likely be the way it is, the conviction on November 14th, so that would be a Monday, Mr. McRae would face 25 years in prison. So this happened last Friday, of course. So this happened on the northbound L train platform. Mr. McRae allegedly slammed Mr. Martin, pushing him off onto the railway tracks. Oh boy, and then an 8-year-old child was pushed onto the ground. So, again, very, very unfortunate that this happened. It got a lot of media coverage, of course. So, we're going to read the quote that Melinda Katz said in this press release yesterday, in quote from Melinda Katz. As alleged, this defendant suddenly tackled a subway rider onto the train tracks and pushed aside a young boy as he fled. Mr. McRae is now charged with attempted murder and other charges for the shocking incident. Every New Yorker deserves to know they can safely travel to work, to school, and around the city with safety. We will not give up the sense of security in Queens, and we will not surrender our streets to fear. So, again, I know Melinda Katz got flack over the summer for using the NYPD to move stuff into her house nearby the Queens Criminal Court building in Kew Gardens. But you gotta understand, at least Melinda Katz is enforcing the law. Alright, she's doing the best she can right now. She's not like Mr. Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, who is a stay woke progressive. Alright, this is a common sense person right here. And I really regret not voting for Melinda Katz a couple of years ago, because I really should have. You know, I was upset that she was not doing a good job as Queensborough president, but she has really succeeded very well in her job as the district attorney. So, Melinda Katz is doing a very good job, you know, and hopefully the suspect from St. Albans will be arraigned, and hopefully for that teenage girl who was paralyzed right near my house, there will be justice. And not just for me, but for everybody in my neighborhood. So, let's get to the other news, I guess. So, let's get to our subway crime. So, a man was dragged by a drain. His clothing got stuck. This happened on Monday, 5 p.m., 59th Street, Columbus Circle train station. So this is, of course, the 123 A and C train station. So everybody knows Columbus very well. Right by the mall. So it says here that the victim was rushing to catch a southbound 1 or 2 train when his clothes got stuck between the doors. He was then dragged to the tracks when he was hit by another train. Oh no! I literally witnessed, believe it or not, back in August at Grand Central, when I was taking the 4 train downtown to Bowling Green, I saw somebody's clothes got stuck, but thankfully that got unstuck. But still, I mean, that's so unfortunate. So, you know, you gotta be careful. I mean, when they mean stand clear of the closing doors, stand clear of the closing doors. So, that is just so unfortunate that had to have happened. Yeah, so Channel 7 did bring this one up. So, this involved an incident where somebody was trying to break up a fight. So where in Manhattan did this happen? So here we go. Police say the victim in the latest case was on a southbound 4 train approaching the Brooklyn Bridge Station at Chambers Street. Oh! Now I know. This is the incident that Charlton was telling me about while I was at work today. Okay, now I know what this is. So, this happened at 6 a.m. A fight between 2 women was involved, alright? So, it says here, we don't know what the argument was about. The Good Samaritan was stabbed once in the neck and in the arm. He was taken to a hospital and is expected to survive. Both women fled the station. Authorities say the suspect knife wielder was thought to be in her 20s. She was wearing green shorts and had short black hair. So, very, very unfortunate. Oh, and then look at this. Mr. Eric Adams, a couple of nights ago, was talking about, I'm listening to New Yorkers. No, you're not. How come I don't see you anywhere around Osnum Hall, Mayor? No, you don't care. You don't care. You've never been to Bayside. So I'm telling you, Eric Adams is so full of it. He really, really is. At least Sliwa came to Bayside. Right? I mean, even though he never was around Northern and Francis, at least we had Curtis on our side. So that's a whole different story. Okay, and then I want to get to this last one in terms of subway crime. Here we go. This is the one. And then we're going to read some other stories from Manhattan before I get to the last story. And there was a fatal car accident in Howard Beach, so we're going to wrap it up with that one. Okay, so look at this. Unprovoked subway attack, Junction Boulevard subway station in Corona. And this was also on the AM New York crime page. Since again, Schlepp's Media is the parent company of both the Queens Courier and AM New York. So here we go. So this happened on October 23rd. So it says here that police on the 115th in Transit District 20, 3 suspects are being wanted for a 21-year-old that was stabbed at the Junction Boulevard train station. This incident occurred at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, October 23rd. The 3 unidentified men then began to curse at the victim before punching and slashing him in an unprovoked attack. The suspects then fled onto Roosevelt Avenue and ran off in an unknown direction. The victim was taken to NYC Health Elmhurst Hospital, where he was listed in stable condition. So we do have pictures from the Crime Stoppers. One of the suspects was last seen wearing eyeglasses, a yellow Champion sweatshirt, and a black jacket. The second assailant also wore eyeglasses along with a gray hooded sweatshirt, a gray baseball cap, a black bag slung over a shoulder, and the third suspect wore a white hoodie and a black face covering, and he had a black fanny pack across the chest. So, yeah, we had 2 pictures. So hopefully they find these guys. Okay, so next up, and, again, whenever something goes down in the parks, I'm going to cover it. So another incident that happened in Central Park. So a jogger was hit by a bike. So, I know exactly where this is. West 66th Street near West Drive. So this happened this morning at 7:54 a.m. The Central Park Precinct responded to a report of the incident and learned that the victim had been hit by a bicyclist though it was not immediately clear whether that individual was operating a standard bike or an e-bike. The jogger path was closed off due to ongoing construction ahead of the New York City Marathon taking place on November 5th, forcing the runner into the roadway where the collision took place. So, I'm thinking like Andrew Tiger Lee right now. You are not supposed to be in Central Park during this time of the year. No. Alright, they're getting ready for the marathon. You don't run in that area. I agree with Andrew Tiger Lee about that. That's one thing that I will agree with him on that. So if he's watching this video, he knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, the victim was taken to New York Presbyterian. Female victim was in critical condition. So, the operator of the bike remained on the scene before taking their bike to get fixed. So, then the bike operator went back to the Central Park precinct. Ooh, and then look at this. The unnamed bicyclist sustained a leg injury. Okay, so apparently the bicyclist was a male. Probably an older guy in his 40s or 50s. Ooh, look at that. So, again, this is why, again, everybody knows that for my birthday, I want to get back to the Upper East Side because I don't want to go back to Central Park for my birthday again. Sure, it was good last year, but come on. Give me a break. Okay. And then we're going to get to this last one on AM New York before we get to the car accident that happened in Howard Beach. Okay, so here we go. So where on the Upper East Side did this happen? A man plunged down a 25-foot hole. So this happened at 250 East 83rd Street. So again, no mention of the cross street. I want to see what cross street did this happen by. Let's see. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. So, funny enough, we're talking about Carl Schultz Park. This happened right by Carl Schultz Park. East 83rd Street. You're lucky I don't walk to the other entrance over there. So now I know where to avoid in 2 weeks. East 86th Street. So yep. Looks like I'm going to be definitely staying on 86th Street to walk to the park. So, what time did this happen? That's the main thing. So they didn't even mention what time did this happen. So we don't even know the condition of the man, but how do you have missing details? Really? Shame on you, AM New York. This is where they, missed the ball running here, Okay, so now we're going to pull up the accident that happened in Howard Beach. So let's pull up that article. Oh, look at this. Another example of how Melinda Katz is trying to get involved. Again, Alvin Bragg, you may want to pay attention to what Melinda Katz is doing in Queens. Just saying. Oh, okay, so this was almost fatal, but still, I mean, this is unfortunate. Howard Beach. Nassau Expressway in Quincy Street. So this happened on Monday evening, the 24th. So a man was critically injured. So this is what we know from the Highway Collision Investigation Squad. A 2004 Mercury Mountaineer was traveling eastbound on the Nassau Expressway. A 46-year-old man behind the wheel struck a guardrail and then collided with a tree. The driver was taken to NYC Health Jamaica Hospital where he was listed in critical condition. So, wow, that is just so unfortunate. But hopefully he's going to be okay. Probably going to need a lot of physical therapy for all we know. Alright, so now we're going to watch the Channel 1 report of the incident in Staten Island. So, Mind you, Tottenville is supposed to be a very safe area. And as soon as I heard yesterday afternoon about this incident, I immediately notified my friends and family in Staten Island because this was such an unfortunate incident. The boy's going to be okay. So, yesterday afternoon, there was a shooting outside of Tottenville High School. A 14-year-old boy was just minding his own business. He got in the crossfire, so very, very unfortunate. And again, it's on the homepage, but you're not going to have a video. So, let's watch the report from last night.
We begin tonight on Staten Island, where a 14-year-old boy is recovering tonight after he was shot in the leg this afternoon right outside of his high school. Police tonight say he was not the intended target, and right now the search is on for multiple suspects still on the loose at this hour. Tonight, Edric Robinson live in Huguenot. That's just outside of Tottenville High School, and he's leading us off. Good evening, Edric.
So this is technically Huguenot.
Good evening, Cheryl. Sending your kids to school and having them return safely was something parents here repeated over and over. Students now wrapping their heads around having violence happening right in front of their school's doorstep. A frightening scene as a student was shot and wounded right outside of Tottenville High School Tuesday, sending the school immediately into shelter-in-place protocol.
All I heard was we gotta get down. We weren't sure if it was a drill or anything, but when they told us on a loudspeaker it wasn't a drill, I was just oh my God, what's happening? Are we gonna be okay?
A neighbor's dashboard cam recorded the sound of gunshots echoing through the streets. Police say 5 to 7 shots were fired. The victim was a 14-year-old boy shot in the right ankle. Students we spoke with say he's a freshman at the school, an athlete on the JV football team.
Nice guy, good grades, very sweet, wouldn't harm a fly. I don't see why anyone would want to do this to him.
The teen was taken to Staten Island University North Hospital and is expected to survive. According to police, there were 5 suspects who fled the scene on foot, all wearing ski masks. Police units were on the scene searching the street, garbage, and neighboring woods for evidence. Canines aiding in the hunt.
What we, and Councilman Baroli and I, will call for is, and I think we will get it, increased police presence, not just at arrival but dismissal, and a recognition that what's happened the last couple of years is that there are so many actions without consequences that we can't be surprised when these things happen.
So again, look what Vito Berselli said. All right, he makes a good point. The criminals, again, know that because there's no set rules, because of bail reform, this is what happens. And this is what's going to convince people to vote for Lee Zeldin in 2 weeks. So, next Tuesday, I'll randomly bring this up. I'm going to go over the debate, because I'm not in any mood to go over it today. I'm literally not in any mood to go over it today. So I figured, a week before the election, I'm going to give my point of view of this debate. Because something has to be said. And Vito is right. The only way, again, I agree with him. We have to call on our legislators in Albany to do something. But the governor doesn't want to do anything about it right now. So let's watch the rest of the report.
This year, 5 firearms have been recovered at city schools, an issue that concerns school safety advocates like Mona Davids, urging Mayor Eric Adams to also hire more school safety agents and increase their training sessions.
The jobs that our school safety agents do, majority woman workforce, unarmed, no bulletproof vests, confiscating loaded firearms, as well as other weapons, should be applauded. But also, they should be properly compensated, and we need more of them.
Students here say more than any.
So this lady, Mona Davis here, I agree with her. A lot of school safety agents were, of course, impacted by COVID layoffs due to, of course, we have to mandate you to get the vaccine. Give me a break about that. I'm glad that judge in Staten Island gave the sanitation workers their jobs back, but, that's not really going to solve the problem completely. We have to get back to pre-pandemic staffing, but right now, we're clearly not on that level yet.
Students here say more than anything, they just want to be safe.
I was traumatized. I still am. I'm still shook. Like, it's just heartbreaking.
And that investigation is still ongoing. Police saying that they believe it was an isolated incident and that teen was not the intended target.
So excellent report by Channel 1 last night, and believe it or not, they actually spent another extra minute talking about other crime stories. So let's watch the rest of the open of the 10 p.m. news last night.
Cheryl?
Edric Robinson leading us off on Staten Island tonight. To other news we're following this hour. Amanda is found shot to death in East Harlem early this morning. The 37-year-old victim was discovered in a fourth-floor hallway inside NYCHA's George Washington houses. The unidentified man was shot in the head and chest. No word of any arrests. New video tonight out of Brooklyn, where cops are now looking for these two people in connection with a shooting that left a 70-year-old woman injured yesterday. Police say the innocent victim was caught in the crossfire. A bullet hit her leg as she walked out of a grocery store in Bed-Stuy. She was hospitalized in stable condition. The suspected gunman fled the scene. Police say he was on a blue moped.
Also, by the way, Channel 7 did cover this, and they actually sent a reporter. So notice how Channel 1 didn't even send a reporter for this one. I mean, the shooting in Harlem is unfortunate, but this 70-year-old lady was just minding her own business outside the bodega. So there's one more story they did cover, so let's watch that.
Also in Brooklyn tonight, police are searching for a cyclist they say punched a Jewish man. The 18-year-old victim was wearing traditional religious attire when he was attacked in Williamsburg Sunday morning. The NYPD's Hate Crimes Task Force now investigating.
Yes, we'll get to the debate in just a second, but I do want you to at least take a look at this video from the Crime Stoppers unit. So the police believe that these are four of the five suspects who are sought for questioning by the 123 precinct. So hopefully these guys are found, because now that the suspect has been caught in Fresh Meadows, the police can focus their resources on this. So, yeah, let's look up Tottenville High School. Tottenville High School in... Yes, okay, so we're going to pull it up right here. This is Tottenville High School, right by Huguenon. So, yes, I know exactly where this is. So trust me, I take this personally. You don't think I do? I take this very personal. Yep. Arden Heights. That's where my relatives live. So again, of course, I'm going to take this very, very personally. Tottenville High is a very good school. Alright? And the fact that, again, this happened right by Tottenville High School. And Great Kills is another good school too, but still, you know, out of all places, it had to happen right by Tottenville High. You know, I'm just really disgusted. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to wrap up this video with Pat Kiernan complaining, alright? And why I'm grateful for today. Alright, so let's watch Pat Kiernan complaining. And why is he complaining, you may be wondering? Well, you're going to see as this video goes along.
Time for a look at some of what's in the papers on this Wednesday morning. Last night's New York 1 debate between Governor Hochul and Republican challenger Lee Zeldin recapped in all of the papers this morning. This is the front page of Newsday with the headline, Fighting Words. The debate described here as hard-hitting and fast-paced, with the candidates trading barbs and one-liners on almost every topic, including assault weapons, congestion pricing, natural gas drilling, and cryptocurrency. As expected, Zeldin shifted to talking about crime quite a lot. The paper says Hochul saved her sharpest words when discussing Zeldin's support for Donald Trump and natural gas drilling. Unsurprisingly, the New York Post says Zeldin was the winner in this debate. Columnist Michael Goodwin says it wasn't a knockout because Hochul played it well, in his words, but Goodwin asserts that the governor did not lay out her vision for the state, and he believes that Zeldin did. Debate coverage appears on pages 2 and 3 of the Daily News. The article from Tim Bulk and Dennis Slattery says the gloves came off early, with Hochul zeroing in on Zeldin's allegiance to Trump and Zeldin blaming Hochul and the Democrats for rising crime. Okay, I want to explain why the debate story on the screen now is the only story I'm going to mention in the New York Times today. I'm not happy. I don't think they're playing fair here, and this has happened repeatedly. The reporters and editors at the Times seem to have gone out of their way not to mention Spectrum, not to mention New York One has hosted the debate. They refer to the moderators namelessly in this article. As I said, it's not the first time this has happened. And I don't want to put you all in the middle of my annoyance with the Times, but we put dozens of hours into organizing these debates and staffing these debates. And I don't think it's too much to ask in a 1,600-word story that they mention Susan by name or they mention Errol by name, or put in like one little sentence that says the New York One organized the debate. It's the who of the who, what, where, when, why.
Oh, where? At Pat Kiernan, my co-anchors weren't mentioned in the New York Times. Where? Oh, shut up! Alright? You be quiet. Be in my shoes. Be in everybody's shoes in Fresh Meadows. We had to wait 6 months for a suspect to be arrested in that shooting. That's why I'm grateful for today. Believe me. And to make matters even worse, Chelsea Lopez posted this today. And thank you very much, because I was watching this live on the air this morning. You know, that's the only time of the day there's only 2 times of the day that I'll watch New York One, so you don't have to. Okay? In the morning and in the live 10 p.m. newscast. So those are the only 2 times of the day I'll really monitor Channel 1. And then maybe I'll monitor Channel 1 on a weekend at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because 11 o'clock, they air some crappy variety programming. But watch this. Watch how Pat Kiernan talks about Park Slope. Because it makes me disgusted with this TV station. They're talking about subway transfers. Oh my God. I mean, here in Queens, the worst places that you can transfer, honestly, it has to be both the Court Square and the Jackson Heights train stations. You know how long it takes to go from the 7 train to the E, F, G, M, and R lines? Oh my God, it takes forever. I mean, when you're coming from the E to the G at Court Square, it's not that bad. But oh my God, I rather would take the longer walk at Jackson Heights than deal with Court Square. So, this is where Pat Kiernan was talking about Park Slope. Watch him.
We're taking to another stop, 4th Avenue, 9th Street in Park Slope. And the stairs are the big thing here. F and G trains on an elevated platform, the R train underground. So the worst part of this one is that there's not an elevator or escalator to help you out on either of these platforms.
So let's say you're transferring to the R train. You have to walk towards the end of the platform, walk up a few flights of stairs that'll bring you to the mezzanine level. From there, you have to climb up 3 more flights of stairs. It'll finally bring you to the elevated F and G platform. At the end of your hike, you would have walked around 170 steps, but about 80 stairs in about 2 minutes.
Okay, let's do one more here. The G train, if you're taking it up toward Williamsburg and Greenpoint from those other parts of Brooklyn we were talking about, you would get to the Metropolitan Avenue and Lorimer Street stop. And this is only there's only 2 trains to transfer. You're either going from the G to the L or from the L to the G.
Oh, so you think it's not that bad, right? That's all you've got. But coming from the G to the Manhattan L requires you to walk towards the end of the platform, up a flight of stairs, down a lengthy tunnel. It leads you to a ramp. The ramp brings you up a flight of stairs, downwards to a small narrow tunnel, brings you to 2 more flights of stairs. Are we there yet? Almost.
Okay, we're getting there.
I hope you didn't just miss your train in all of that.
So again, Pat Kiernan is being a big baby today. Oh my God. Stop being a big baby, Pat Kiernan. Alright? Calling you out. To wrap up this video, since I'm done talking about Mr. Pat Kiernan. Mr. Pat Kiernan. What I'm grateful for today, and what I'm very grateful for, is the fact that, again, what I'm grateful for is, again, 6 long months. And I understand that. And I understand it took 6 months to finally make an arrest. But I think a lot of people in my neighborhood tonight are going to sleep easier knowing that a major crime that happened 6 long months ago, a suspect finally got arrested. And we can be very grateful tonight that our fresh Meadows is going to feel a lot more safer knowing that something has to give. We're 2 more weeks away from the election, and again, Tuesday I will be going over the debate from Channel 1, and I'm going to go over how Errol Lewis looked corny. You know, I really wish that this debate was on Channel 2, because I would have preferred Maurice Dubois and Marsha Kramer to do the debate. But nonetheless, that's it. And again, Pat Kiernan, stop being a big baby. Alright? What is wrong with you? You used to never act like this. Oh, we're not mentioned in the New York Times. Hey! You know, Passengers United was mentioned in the New York Times. So, I'm grateful for that. And I even made Channel 1 this week. That's another thing I should be grateful for. So I guess to wrap up the video, the big baby Pat Kiernan lost, and me and Charlton won. So let's watch how me and Charlton won this week. Thank you for watching, and let's watch the video to wrap it up.
Today, we are declaring a state of emergency in the New York City subway system.
Public transit advocates say the subways are in a crisis because of the increase in crime. After a series of violent crimes on the city's transit system, concerns about subway safety took center stage during an MTA committee meeting Monday. More than a dozen people spoke in the public comment period.
Our subways are the lifeblood of this city. We need to be reassured by our elected officials that we're going to feel safe on the subway.